same public archery range that I was at in a short that I made a couple weeks ago. And today it's actually exciting because we do have some other people here. The last time I was here, I was the only person here. I have the recurve. I also brought along some things to show you for some upcoming stuff with some compound bow shooting. So we'll talk about that later. I'm going to start to get warmed up, start to get ready, see what I can do on some of these shorter range targets before we can move up. Got the good old recurve, got some arrows. It's the warmest day that I've got to be outside in quite a good amount of time here in PA. It's nearly 60 today. So I got short sleeves on for now, and we'll probably switch to the sweatshirt in a little bit. Alrighty, first things first, because I am air arm right now. We're gonna put the arm guard on. AZ, how's it going? I know we do have some wind, so bear with me for a moment. I'm going to attempt to get a wind filter in here. There you go. Hopefully that helps a little bit. AZ, yeah, it seems like you're the only one here right now. I started it up about a minute ago. Looks like Ozarks was chatting earlier, but he's having some technical difficulties right now. All right. Hopefully that reduces wind noise a little bit. You guys will have to let me know. But I'm gonna put the arm guard on this arm. AZ, are you new to the channel, or would you just so happen to be one of the younger guys, Timmy and Carter, I believe their names are, who keep on making new accounts for me? Let me know. All right, we're gonna use the bow stringer and get our bow strung. Nice bow, awesome. I appreciate the kind words. Hopefully we're gonna do some good shooting with it today. We gotta get it set up first. That's what I'm doing at the current moment. All right, got that strung up. Should be good to go. That guy says I subscribed. I appreciate it. So you are Timmy. See, I called it. I knew there was another account floating around in there. I appreciate it, that guy. Hopefully we're gonna do some good shooting today. This is a recurve bow, and it's a traditional recurve bow, which means it's about as bare bones as you can get for a bow setup. There's no sights on it, and it's a little bit weaker, which makes it a lot harder to aim. It's a lot more difficult to get good at. I'm pretty good within 25 yards. Once I get out past 30, I'm kind of all over the place, but that's why we're here. We're gonna get practice in and see if even on this rudimentary bow I can get good at those longer distance shooting. where are you shooting? So I've got some targets down there, and we are at public archery range on one of the state game lands in Pennsylvania. We'll put a couple shots down there. We're gonna go with this one. So there's two different types of targets down there. We're gonna do this one. There you go. Let's see what we can do. So let's see if I can stick it behind me so you guys have a view there. I hit center, but about 7 inches high, something like that. Dead center. All right, hold on here a minute. I think I pulled a rookie mistake and put my bowstring on upside down when I put it back on. So we gotta fix that. That's a rookie move. All right, we got a rookie move to fix. It really doesn't matter, but if you look, show you, so you have this kind of woven string up here, and around here you have this more slightly thicker wound string, and that's where you want to put your arrow. But I have it slightly off center because it's supposed to be flipped the other way. So we'll fix that real quick. Super simple to fix. Just do that, take the tension out of the bow, and then flip it around. Yeah, there's a big loop and a small loop, and I put the wrong one on the wrong side somehow. I'm not sure how I did that. Not a problem though. A couple seconds and we should be back in action. All right, we're back. We're good now. All right. I miss the good old hit days. I'm not sure what that means. So that's Fishing Family. They changed their name again. You guys got to stop doing that. You keep confusing me. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe you guys are just trying to have fun and confuse me. Am I good to shoot now?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, perfect. So I'm very consistently a little bit high. I say very consistently, I've only taken 2 shots today, but my left and right is very good. I'm dead down the middle. So I way over adjusted, and I did what's called, I did a pull off release, which you're not supposed to do. You're just supposed to let it roll off. So I kind of threw myself off a tad. I adjusted probably 18 inches when I only needed like 6. Now I'm back to high again. Takes me a little bit to get my bearing, especially with no sight. And that's some of the things that we're working on in this video here today. I have a couple techniques that I want to talk about that I'm going to try and start implementing in my shooting. And I also have a book in my bag over there that I'm going to talk about, a kind of interesting technique, an interesting practice that I think will help us out in our longer distance shooting. All right. Field tip's a little bit loose. There you go. There you go. I'm getting closer. About 5 inches high, something like that. My up and down on that one was pretty doggone good. Now I'm a little to the left. That was also because I let go too quick. I kind of pulled off of it instead of just slipping off nicely. Usually takes me about 1 round on the recurve time dialed in. We're getting closer every time, and once I find that groove, we're usually pretty good. That was about 1 inch high of the bullseye, and it was good left and right. That's a shot that I'd take every day of the week. One more arrow. Not terrible, really good up and down. I think that would have hit the black dot. It was a couple inches to the left of the central target. Yep. Bring you guys on down here as we pull out our arrows. Go check out what we got. So here's our grouping. Hopefully you guys can see that properly. There you are. So this is the one I way over adjusted for. Definitely the worst shot. This one good up and down, a little bit to the left. This was our best shot, about 3 or so inches high, but good left and right. This one was not great. And then this whole grouping is good up and good left and right, but I have a tendency to be high. So I'll have to bring down my shot placement a little bit, and we should be pretty good. And as it says right there, that is 20 yards. I think it might be backwards on the camera, but use a little bit of brain power, and I'm sure you can figure out that says 20 yards. So that's what we're starting at today. Alrighty. Ready to roll again. I think I have chats coming in that I haven't looked at yet. Oh yeah. Skeeter's in here. Rod Wilson is in here. Talking about when they started following the channel. We got some good supporters in here. I'm here to learn. You're doing a great job. Well, yeah. I'm good at explaining. One of the things I am good at is I'm good at explaining what I'm doing, what's working, and what's not. So I don't claim to be an expert, but I can at least explain what I'm doing and talk about my learning experience through it. So yeah, through my failures and successes today, I'll tell you guys what I'm doing, and we can learn from it. So we'll stick to the 20 yards for now. So it is windy right now. I have this wind cover in here. Let me know if that's working or not, or if it still sounds crazy. But yeah, we're gonna stick at the 20 yards for a couple more rounds, and then we'll start moving up, which is a little bit out of my comfort zone with the rudimentary style bow. these type of target bows, like traditional target bows, obviously don't have a sight. As I was talking about earlier, you have to do like kind of manual sight techniques. You hear it still. All right, I'll work on that. Is it like super bad or is it just noticeable? Let me know. But yeah, no sights on this. It's all manual type aiming techniques, which can make it a little bit more difficult. And this is only a 40-pound bow, so trying to shoot anything over 40-ish yards is definitely difficult because you have to aim so high in reference to where you want to hit that it's really hard to get a gauge on that. So yeah, anything inside 40 yards you can do with this. It just takes a decent bit of skill, but learning on something like this will make trying to do stuff with a compound bow or more advanced bows a lot easier. 90 AZ, I don't know what that means. Is that like the percent that you still hear it? Ozarks, thanks for giving me the time, even though you're still at work. I appreciate it. Yeah, so let me know how bad that wind is. Hopefully this reduces it a little bit. 90%. 90% better or 90% of what it typically is? I'm working on some wind noise solutions. So if this is a good one, then we'll stick with this. But if not, I'll move to something else. All right, gonna take a couple more shots at 90, or at 20. It's so let me know, is it 90% bad or 90% good? Turn it that way. So that right there, that one, that's our target. You guys heading home?
Yes, sir.
What bows are you shooting, if you don't mind me asking?
What bows?
What bows?
Oh, both San Lita Dragon X8s.
Okay.
They're the cheapest bows. I bought them off Amazon. I just tuned them with a better string, the BCY 99 string.
Okay.
And I, like, you know what I mean? I put a better sight on it, a better drop away. And these things shoot like incredible.
Awesome. Well, here, I'll show you what I have here. It's an oldie, but it was good back in its heyday.
Oh yeah, that's a good bow right there.
So I gotta get a string replacement for it. I haven't totally set it up to shoot, and it's about.
What's the poundage at?
It's 55.
Yeah, see, this is a heavy string right here.
Yeah.
I would go with like a 16 thread, a little bit thinner to get more arrow speed.
I'm probably gonna tick it up eventually because 55 for me is pretty light. So I typically like I used 65s. That's probably where I'd want to sit, but I'll probably tick this up eventually.
Yeah, see, I got this is a 65.
Yeah.
And this is a 16 string. Where's the? I don't know what yours is at.
I don't.
But this is a
40 something.
But this is a 16 string right
Gotcha.
here. But you know what I mean? Like you buy.
Yeah, I'm learning. I've shot that for a decent amount of time. This is my first ever experience with something that isn't super rudimentary. So.
I've been shooting bows for like 40 years, and I've always like Hoyt, bow tack, stuff like that. When I got back into it, back when COVID hit, I wanted a bow I could beat up, so I bought a $299. What was it? $199.
Yeah.
I paid $190 for this bow. All I did was I put a BCY 99 string on it and on hers. Got a drop away rest in the sight, and she, well, not so much me.
I was just learning.
Yeah.
She can keep up with guys with like $1,800, $2,000
Right, yeah.
setup bows.
Yeah, they get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get mad. They don't want to shoot with
There you
everything.
go. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Good luck. What's the name of your channel?
It's called Mission Discover. I do, my whole thing is I do outdoor stuff, and regardless of whether I'm really good at it or really bad at it, I'll talk about like, here's what I'm doing, here's what's working, here's what's not. So it's all about like the learning experience and figuring it out.
That's what you need to do. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
so
you need to do,
I mean, this is the first time I've ever had a compound bow.
Yeah.
I put one shot through it so far, and I'm gonna do a whole video on me learning this from the perspective of having shot that for 2 years.
Mission Discover
It's called Mission Discover.
on YouTube.
That's
Yep.
perfect, dude. Man, it's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah,
That's
it's fun.
great. I love teaching bow. I want to open up a bow shop.
Yeah,
because there's
perfect.
none around here.
Well, yeah, let me know if you do. And,
Well, my name is Steve.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nolan.
Nolan, nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll see you
Hi,
here
Margie.
more.
Hi. Nice to
In the
meet you.
way.
Hopefully we'll see you here more.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I
right.
mean, it's 13 minutes from my house. I'll be here.
All right, cool.
All right, so as I was just talking about, secret special spoiler alert, I do now own a compound bow. And as you guys have seen, I typically shoot that. So eventually we're going to do a video talking about learning how to use the compound bow, the differences between that and something like a traditional bow. I have a sight on it. I bought that. I bought a release. The draw length is a little bit too long for me right now, so I need to learn how to adjust that. I got to get my arrows set up. I already bought them. I have a release, and I've pretty much learned how to use that, but we're going to talk all about that soon. I'm not going to be shooting this today, but I brought it just because it would probably get brought up sometime in this live. Lo and behold, it did. So here it is. This is what it looks like. We'll talk about that a little bit more throughout the live. But we're going to keep shooting this for now. The weight difference between these two is crazy. That's a fairly heavy bow. It's an older bow as far as compounds go, but even light ones still weigh 5 or so pounds. This weighs like 2 pounds. It's so unbelievably light because it's just wood. Yeah, it's windy out today. You'll have that with outdoors video typically. What state looks like a range in PA? Ryan Marino, you are indeed correct. It is Pennsylvania. No way you pad him for that. No way I paid someone. That string needs waxed or possibly replaced on that compound. You are correct. I'm getting a replacement string. I have wax, but I'm just going to replace the whole thing because I want to learn that part of the whole process too. And also, like, we're going to have to take some things apart anyway. It's about 1 inch too long on the draw length for me. The guy who owned it previously is my girlfriend's dad, and he is in that 6 foot range, so he has a little bit longer draw than I do. I'm 5'9". A lot of you guys have never seen me in person. I'm like pretty average male height. I'm 5'9", so it's a little bit too long for me. We're gonna have to adjust that, and at the same time, I'm just gonna replace the string. All right, let's get a couple shots down range and continue working with this. I'm currently shooting intuitive. I'm point on with aiming techniques at 30 yards. So I'd probably be a little bit under the target if I did some aiming techniques from this distance. I'm going to try a couple aiming shots, and I'm probably going to put it about maybe 9 inches under the center of the target. And see what we can do. Very good up and down. That was definitely a good placement as far as my point. The wind kind of caught it and it pushed it a little to the left. I think it would have been a tad left anyway, but it's probably 4 inches, 5 inches to the left. But really good up and down. These are very light arrows, and they're very supple arrows. For any of you who know things about archery, these are 500 spines, and I think they only weigh somewhere in the 300 as far as how many grains they are. So they're not heavy-duty arrows. The wind can definitely take them. Much too high. I tried to go back to intuitive, and I'm trending high on intuitive shooting today. Are you using a ball tip? I'm not. I'm using a standard field point. Let that car clear out. I'm using, this is loose, but there you go. Standard field point, just like that. Hey, Raptor Will. All right, so I'm tending very high on my intuitive shooting today. Not necessarily sure why. Oh, bullseye. I know what I was doing. I was kind of, so that's probably windy. I'll wait. So, oh boy, it's really windy. Oh, look at my hair. There you go. Yeah, so that one's dead in the bullseye. I adjusted a little bit. The thing I have to be careful of, because I'm trying to test both intuitive shooting and aiming methods, is that I don't start to mix them. And that's what I was doing. And when I started to realize that, I just switched fully into the intuitive mindset and got a bullseye. Now, part of it could have been luck, but it was definitely way closer than my intuitive shots were before. I got to be careful of that. I got to really get in the mindset for whichever one I'm using. AZ, you're confusing me, man. 3 comments ago, you said I'm saved, and now you say you want to get saved. I'm fully for that decision. You just got to make up your mind. All right. Let's try another intuitive shot. What color do you have? And 2, when are you going to college? What color what do I have? I'm not sure what the question's asking. I have blue arrows, blue and brown arrows. I got a brown bow. My truck's back there. It's red. I don't know what color you're asking, but there's some possibilities to the answer. And I'm going to college at the end of this school year. I'm out of high school and I'm going to college. I think I'm going to go to college next fall. So, assuming nothing crazy happens. All right. Once I got in that mindset of like, yeah, I'm definitely shooting intuitive right now and really focused on the technique, we're good. That's about 2 inches off from the bullseye. That's the thing. I've been so focused on kind of switching between the two that I gotta make sure I don't start to mix them together. What color is my hair? My hair's brown. Is the sun making it look weird? A little bit high, but definitely better than our shots were earlier. We're definitely getting the hang of it now. We're in the zone. Let me make a small adjustment, see if we can reduce some of this wind noise further. There we go. See how that is. Do you have an email for your channel? I just have a general email, and if someone needs to email me something, I will just send them that way. So yeah. When does this video end? I assume you're asking. I'm not quite sure yet. It's 4:11 my time. Sun goes down somewhere after 6. I'm probably not going to run it too much after 6, but probably around there. So 6 Eastern time is what I'm kind of aiming for. Get night at 6. Yep, at your time, I think you're slightly west of me. That makes sense. We have a couple more minutes after 6. All right, so that one, I stopped on the draw because my finger was pushing this. See how it's not quite level? Yeah, you don't want that, so I stopped. Try it again. A tad high, but we're definitely in the vicinity. If that was something like a deer, that definitely would have got the job done. It's close enough. One more shot, then we'll go take a look after this round. Probably move up. We might switch between 20 and 30 for a little bit before we head up to the 40, which is where my shots kind of go all over the place. That's about the max that this bow can reasonably shoot. That one came off the arrow a little bit, came off the bow a little bit strange. So yeah, that wasn't great. It's still in a decent vicinity, but it's not great. All right, let's head down there, see what we got. All right, hold that up. Oh, there you go. The sun is bright, which I'm all for. Because technically it's still winter, but it's like 60 degrees out. Alright, so. You know, I was saying we were going real high before we switched our form. These are those high ones before I kind of locked my form in. And here's what we had since. Here's our one in the bullseye. There you go. This one's about 4 inches off. This one is about 4 inches off. That one's about 5. This one's about 6. And this one's about 6. And then these two are way high because my form was off. So there's that one. And that one. Here it's 2 or 3. Yeah, that makes sense. 2 or 3. Your typing confuses me. But yeah, that makes sense. I remember that you guys are an hour behind me. 5 people in here, 5 thumbs up. I really appreciate it. All right, let's move up to 30, which is way over here, way down yonder. So this is a significantly further target. It's down there. We'll put it right here. Right there. There you go. I'm gonna go grab my stuff. I'll be over in a second. Code 1 in the fire department typically refers to the highest priority emergency response, meaning a situation requiring immediate action with lights and sirens fully activated and usually signifying I don't know. That's kind of random, but that's cool information. Typically something like that, I'd think like my intuitive response is it's code red, but that's kind of cool information. Not sure where it came from though, but I'm okay with some random information here and there. Just make sure it doesn't get too out of hand, and I don't mind. All right, so significantly further, and if you guys remember from my short, those of you who watched it, at 30 is where I switch over from intuitive shooting to aiming methods. Which means in this context, I'm just going to draw back, and instead of feeling where the arrow is going to go, I'll just put my tip on the spot I want it to go on, because from this distance, that's right about where it hits. So we shouldn't be too off right off the bat. We're going to see what we can do. There you go. That one's a couple inches high, slightly to the left. Can we do 30,000 yards? Not quite. Don't get too silly there. This field tip's a tad bit loose. Tighten that up. There you go. All right. Only one person in. Everyone dropped out. We had like 10. I don't know what happened. All right. We're at 30 yards still. Gonna put another shot down range, see what happens. Really good shot. couple inches high, dead on left and right. So that's good. You are here. It looks like you're the only one here right now. You guys got to stop changing your names. Super confusing. Three people back in here, thank you. We had 10 or so and it all dropped out all of a sudden. All right. Put another shot downrange. We're just using aiming techniques from 30. It is point on for me, which I explained in another video if you don't know what that means. But yeah, we're doing pretty good at this range. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is my name. Ozarks is still here. It's funny because I've had 3 people comment since I said that, but my thing only says there's 1 person in, so it might just be glitching. I'm consistently probably 4 inches or so high. Yeah, 4 inches or so high. Not exactly sure why that is. We're gonna see if we can figure that out. The field tips, field points, whatever you want to call them, on these particular set of arrows do like to come out fairly easily. They like to loosen up. I'm going to put some Loctite on them next time I get a chance. There you go. There you go. A little bit to the right, but decent shot. What's with all those presents? Are those for me? How kind. A bunch of present emojis in the chat. Not exactly sure what that means. But if they're for me, I'll take them. Not going to complain about that. So, if I get through this whole set and figure out that they're all hitting very close to the same height, which is a couple inches high, and I'm putting it right on as far as my point, that either means I'm not drawing as far as I typically do, or I'm drawing further than I typically do, which I don't think is happening, or the point on point, which I figured out last video, was a little bit incorrect. So we're going to try and figure that out. Can you show how you do your fingers on the string? I certainly can. Supercalifragilistic. I'm going to have a 5-minute timeout. Oh, nope, sorry, that was Ozarks. Ozarks, that was not supposed to be you. That was supposed to be the person below you. I'm sorry. There you go. Ozarks, I'm not sure how to get that back. I'm so sorry. But yes, if you're still watching and you didn't leave in spite, then yes, I can show you how to do the fingers on the bow. The messages on my phone screen are so small, and I'm trying to do that. So I will issue one more warning. If you guys, yeah, I did time out Randy. I'm sorry. That was not my intention. But AZ and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, your fancy name changers, you guys have a tendency to come into the chat and often put random things or put questions that really aren't related and in some ways are just not appropriate to answer. If that doesn't stop, then we are going to have to remove you guys from the channel, because it's just not something that's beneficial to the community we're trying to promote on here. So I will issue that warning. I've issued it before, but it will happen. I'm sorry, that's just the way it's got to be to keep the community running properly. Ozarks Woodsman is saying hi to Raptor Will, who I don't see. I don't know what's going on in my chat right now. I'm kind of lost in my own stream, but that's okay. Who's still here, though? Ozarks Woodsman Stories and more. You got to tell me who you're referring to. Hopefully Mr. Ozark's Great Adventure is still in here watching, even though I accidentally put him in timeout. That was not my intention. So how I do my fingers on the string is like this. Let's see if we can get good lighting. There you go. We'll do it like this. This will be better. So you have your arrow on there like that. What you do is, I have my glove on. I can take that off to show you a little bit better. So you have your arrow on the string, just like that. And you want to do it with the pads. See how there's the different joints in your finger? The first joint, that first section, you want to put it right in the middle. That's typically where I put it. And then when you go to shoot, you want to just slowly let it roll off. You don't want to let go, because that's how you jolt your shot out of position. Both the Ozarks are still here. Awesome. But yeah, you want to just kind of let it roll off. Don't kind of jerk it, because then you have inconsistent shots because you accidentally pushed it this way when you were letting go. Just kind of let it roll off smoothly, and that's how you get the best shot. So I'll do one, put my fingers in place. I'm not going to move them. I'm just going to go up here without the glove and take a shot, see what we can do. So I actually rolled that one low. I hit it with my finger and it went super, super low. A lot of times when you do the hard release, it's going to push it left or right. My left and right was really good. I was just super, super low, which I think I'm still learning here, obviously. I think I'm going to switch from doing the split grip, which is how you have some fingers below the arrow and some fingers above, because that's how I just pushed it a little bit and it went off target. I think I'm going to switch over, I was thinking about this the other day, to all three of my fingers that I'm pulling with are underneath the arrow. I think that's what I'm going to switch to, and we're going to try that out for a little bit. I think it's just going to be better overall. Thomas says he just got home from school. Thomas is one of my classmates. Yeah, I'm here. I had a meeting with the NHS, drove someone home, and now I'm here. I work quick. So I haven't been doing this for a super long time, that is shooting these traditional bows, but there's a lot to learn, and it's really difficult to get super good with these because there's no sights to assist you, any of that sort of thing. So the issue I have with this technique is currently, I'll talk about this and then come back to that, but the issue I have with doing it not a split grip right now, which is probably why I decided to do it split grip in the first place, is that the arrow wants to lean forwards, and because I have no serving material or other sort of way of marking where my knock goes on here and keeping it in place, it just likes to slide up. Ozarks, you're back. I'm sorry that I did that to you. That's not my intention. Yeah, it wants to slide up. So I think I'm going to have to stick with the split grip until I get some serving material or another sort of knock marker on there. But yeah, we'll try one more, see if we can not push it cockeyed as we shoot with our fingers. So there's how my fingers look. I'm going to come up here, make shot with it. That was much better. Little bit low. I think generalistically, which I need to get better at, I almost always shoot with the glove just because I shoot for long periods of time. If I shoot with my fingers, because it's pulling on it more, I tend to shorten up my draw a little bit, which is why I think it's going a little bit lower, maybe half an inch or so, but it definitely can make that much of a difference. So I think I need to make sure that even though there's more tension on my fingers, I still pull to the same distance, even when I'm not using the glove. So we're gonna pick up our last arrow and make another shot with that and focus on making sure I get all the way to my full draw. And then after this set, got some stuff to talk about. So there's my fingers again. Gonna come all the way to full draw, even though I don't have the glove on. It's not about, I need to make sure that I remember, it's not about how much tension I feel in the fingers, it's about actually the distance that I go. And just like that, if it's not a bullseye, it's within an inch. It's very close. Are you shooting left-handed or is it reversed on camera? It is reversed on camera. I can flip that around for you so you guys can have a better representation if you would like, but then it's going to be like one part of the video looks one way and one part of the video looks the other way. I am shooting right-handed. The video does reverse it because I'm using the camera on the front so I can read chat and look at that at the same time. Get you some nylon thread. I can show you how to make a knock with thread. Yeah, I know how to do it. I've taken the time to do it. Most of the time I just practice at home and I've been shooting within 20-25 yards. So there's a lot more like stuff you can get away with and still hit the target properly. But shooting at these longer distances definitely is going to make me a better shooter, a better archer overall. I think it's something that is going to be really good in the long run. Lots of learning still to do. I'm pretty accurate within 25 yards, but I want to be accurate within like 40. So that's the whole goal here. All right, a couple things to talk about, then we'll go down and retrieve those. I'm the only one at the range since those people left at the beginning, so I have time. Don't need to go grab them right away. First of all, I do want to show you a little bit about the compound bow and talk about some of my plans with it and what's going on. Supercalifragilistic, you are back. Just make sure you stay on good behavior. I've issued the warning before. This is your final warning. If you guys don't continue to be respectful of me, the channel host, and other viewers in chat, make sure you ask questions that are relevant and appropriate, then we won't have a problem. But we have had the problem in the past. It hasn't necessarily stopped. Just make sure you continue to do the right thing, and all will be good. So there's a lot, just because I'm talking about how rudimentary the traditional bow is, I want to demonstrate with a lower end, older compound bow, which doesn't have all the tech associated with it, some of the differences and why what I'm doing now with the traditional bow is so difficult. And then we'll talk about that for a little bit. So here's the compound bow. A couple things about the compound bow for those of you who don't know about it. Compound bow, as you can see, it has these cams, has multiple strings. It's mechanical. You can adjust your draw length on it. You can adjust how much tension you're pulling against. And it has a let off. You pull really hard and then it lets off, and it's nice and easy to hold out here, meaning you can take a lot of time to adjust your shot placement without getting super tired. They also have places for sights like this one. They're a lot faster, they're more powerful, you can shoot accurately at longer distances, and a lot of people will use something like this, which is a release. Helps you to make sure you get a really smooth shot if you use it properly. Helps you to not have as much tension and wear and tear on your fingers. And it's a lot more complicated, but it can be, the technological advancements can really help you to be a better archer. I want to get good with both of these, the super rudimentary and the technologically advanced. This is not ready to shoot. I see AZ asking me to shoot it. It's not ready to shoot yet. It has a couple things that need to get fixed, a couple things that I need to get set up. But I do want to kind of show you what this looks like. It's currently set at 55 pounds of draw, which is fairly light for me. I'll talk a lot about the whole setup and all the details in another video, but I'll kind of show you what I mean and how it works just briefly so you know what I'm talking about. All right, so here you go. I'll just come back here. There's nothing in it. I'm not going to fire it because that's how you break bows. I'm just going to draw it back. So the release, I'm not actually pulling with my hand. How this works is when I get the full draw, I put my finger on this trigger and slowly, smoothly pull it, and it will eventually smoothly release. Slowly, smoothly pull it, and it eventually comes off. You're not slamming the trigger, just like we're not letting go of the bowstring. We're slowly sliding off. But here's what it looks like. This is 55 pounds, and as you'll see, it's difficult, and then will get easier. So I just go like this. I'll do it slow at first. So slow, 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 and then it's let off. It's real easy out here. As you can see, it's a little bit long for me. It should be like there, and it's here. So I need to adjust that. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So yeah, you also have the sight. You can adjust these pins to help you figure out how high and low to go. There's a lot of technological advancements to help you shoot easier and better that bow does not have at all, which is why it's so difficult. But yeah, I want to learn how to do both of these and be good with both of them. I don't shoot bow and arrows, but I find it very interesting. It is big, yeah. Got me wanting to get my bow out and make a video. Totally go for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, here's what it looks like fast. Yet again, 55, fairly light for me. You do want to be smooth with it. Like if you were using it for hunting, you don't want to do that because that fast motion will possibly scare away what you're trying to hunt. But yeah, just be smooth with it. And then when you're ready to go, just click that little trigger nice and smoothly and you're good. Yeah, that's where it's at right now. A whole video is coming eventually, probably be a couple months, about all the details with this and my learning experience with it. But yeah, this is a couple steps up in ease of getting good with. But obviously, like, a lot of people want to get good with 60 yards. That's not even something that most people try on that bow. So it opens up more possibilities, but that doesn't necessarily mean the whole process is easier, because I have to learn about the whole thing, learn how to do it, which isn't necessarily the easiest. And I got to learn about all the different pieces and how they work. That's a lot easier to pick up and learn, but it's harder to get good with. So there you go. All right, let's go take a look at our shot placement with the recurve bow. I don't know what yards are. Yards are an increment of measurement that is every 3 feet. So 30 yards is 90 feet. 20 yards is 60 feet. 10 yards, 30 feet, so on and so forth. So here's what our shot placement's looking like. As I said, this one was the one that I bumped with my finger because of the split placement and was real low. This one was just not a great shot in general. That was one of the ones that I also shot, and I said I didn't pull quite far enough with my bare fingers. This one was our one. He's about an inch away from the bullseye. That's our best shot of the group. And then, as I said, I think my point on point might actually need to be a little bit, just a tad lower, because as you can see, very consistent grouping, but they're all a little bit high. When we were just doing point on using the glove, our basic setup was a little bit high. So I think I might need to drop my point on spot just a little bit. Alrighty, so people in chat, let me know what you would like to see. Would you like me to go up to 40, which will probably be a lot of learning, not a lot of super great shooting, just me trying my best and learning along with you guys? Or would you like me to stick here and talk about some things that I'm already comfortable with? Let me know. Should I stay at 30 or move up to 40? I wish I had one. If I had a bow tonight, me and my family would have deer meat. There you go. Stay at 30. Sounds good to me. All right. All right. All right, I'm gonna take a couple more shots with my bare fingers just to make sure I get that drawing all the way back drilled into my head before I put the glove back on. So we're gonna work on that for a little bit. Good shot. Still a little bit high. Stay at 30, too windy. That is true. Still a little bit high. I think our point on point needs to shift down a little bit. So I'm going to try that. I had a little bit of string slap, which slowed my shot right at the end, made it drop too much. Super windy. Can you guys hear that wind noise still? Is it super bad? Can you hear me when I'm talking over it? Let me know. I'm in the process of trying to find ways to go for almost no noise from the wind, because outdoor lives with wind aren't fun for anybody. So trying to work on that. Alrighty, let's not string slap and let's pull all the way. I'm going for 1 minute, not a problem. Good shot, still a little bit high. So I put the point on point about 6 inches low at 30, and that was a little bit closer. So I think we're gonna do that. Gonna put the glove back on. My consistency with draw length, even with my fingers, has definitely improved a little bit. Quick question, are those your arrows? Yes, they are. They aren't supplied by the range. Four people in here. Let me know who's watching. I appreciate you all. I always wish not always wish, but wish I had a couple more people in here. Usually I'm somewhere around 10, but yeah, 4 loyal people watching is good enough for me. Even still a little bit high. I wonder if my draw length the day I was working on it before was even a little bit too short. wasn't drawing all the way. That's something you got to be consistent with, especially when shooting at longer distance. When you're this close, it doesn't really matter because there's not much drop to it. Inside 20 yards doesn't really matter, which is where I'm typically used to shooting. So yeah, this is illuminating some things with my form that I definitely need to work on, and that's what we're here for. So Ozarks AZ Supercalifragilistic is still watching. All right, so I adjusted it super low that time just to see where I would lie, and that did go a little bit low. So I think I'm in the 7 to 8 inch range below where I want to hit is where I should put my point for aiming. How fast my arrows might be going. So this is a 40-pound bow. I imagine there's a little bit of wind noise, so I'll wait. Definitely, that's never what you want. Drop it right onto the tip. Ooh, dulled it up a little bit. We'll have to sharpen that at a later point. That's never what you want. Should still work. So this is a 40-pound bow, but it is shooting fairly light arrows. If I had to guess, I would say something in the range of 170 feet per second. Things that are projectiles are measured in feet per second typically, or meters per second, but it's pretty easy conversion to miles per hour. Don't know it off the top of my, well, I probably could figure it out, but nobody wants to sit here and watch me do math. So yeah, somewhere in the range of 170 feet per second is what I would guess, where, as I was talking about earlier, technological advancements with the compound bow, if I shot an even heavier arrow than this with the compound bow, it'd probably be going closer to like 240, and there's bows that get up to close to 300 feet per second, whereas the fastest recurve traditional bows are like low to mid 200s. So definitely can get faster and stronger with those than you can with these. So we got a pretty consistent grouping high above the bullseye and a pretty consistent grouping low, which to me means that I over adjusted when I tried to bring it down. So let's kind of go in the middle of where we were. A little bit high into the left, but definitely my adjustment there was successful. All right, before we move on, I do want to talk about a weird technique that I'm going to try and implement with my recurve bow that I think in the long run is going to be super helpful. So I've got a book. I know, fancy, crazy. I brought out a book on a archery live stream. You're probably kind of confused. So in an attempt to keep the traditional bow traditional and be able to shoot it as traditional as possible, and kind of see how close I can get to the techniques and the precision of the compound bow and its more modern techniques, I need a way to find out how far away I am from targets where it's not like a specifically defined distance like we're shooting today. Those just have big signs on them that say, hey, I'm this far away, so you know. And that's where I want to talk about this. Typically with compound bows, you have your sights set at a specific spot, and you have and you have a rangefinder to be able to figure out, like if you're hunting, how far is that animal away, and you can use your pins in your sight to figure out like right about where do I need to shoot. But with a recurve, you don't have any of that. It's much more traditional. There's not the pins, and if you were to use a rangefinder, that's fine, but you also might want a way to do it more traditionally. That's where this comes in. I bookmarked the page this morning as I was eating breakfast. I found it so I could read it today on stream. This is a cool technique I found when reading this book. This was a really interesting book, by the way. Okay. There's a distance measuring technique that you can do with your fingers and eyes. Here's what it says about it. Since the distance between most people's eyes is approximately 1/10 the distance from their eyes to their extended fingertip, we have in our bodies a very basic tool for measuring angles and distances. The best way to see how it works is with an exercise, and for this you will need a ruler and some space. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad. First, you set out a ruler or tape measure on a surface in front of you. Now stand quite close. Close your left eye. That one. I know it's probably reversed on the camera. Close your left eye, and looking with only your right eye, line up your finger with the 0-inch mark at the left hand edge of the ruler. So you put your finger out there. Without moving your head or finger, close your right eye and open your left eye. Notice how your finger jumps along. You can try it at home. Sorry for the wind. I'll wait. We're waiting. Oh boy. I got some fancy hair. Hopefully this isn't terrible. We can hear fine. Perfect. Well, then I'll keep going. Now take a small step back and repeat the experiment. Take another small step back and repeat the experiment. Keep going as far as space will allow you, ideally until your finger jumps all the way from 0 to 12 inches when you swap your eyes. Now mark the spot you're standing on when your finger jumps 12 inches and measure how far you are from the ruler. It should be about 10 feet. For short distances, it's important to remember that you are gauging the distance from your fingertip, not your eyes. So the basic idea of this is that there's a ratio between how far your finger jumps when you do that technique and how far away you are from something. You can also use it for vertical distances, and you can do it backwards. You can figure out if you know how far away you are from something, you can figure out how wide something is by how far your finger jumps. That sort of thing. It's a really cool technique. I learned about it and I kind of know how to use it, but I want to learn how to get really good with it so I can pull out the traditional bow, no sight, no rangefinder, do a little finger technique, and then all of a sudden, boom, I can shoot it from wherever I am and hit the target. That's my eventual goal with the recurve bow. With the compound bow, my goal is to say, hey, it has all this fancy technology. How good can I really get? Just be as accurate as possible. I don't care what techniques I have to use. Just see how accurate I can get with it. 2 different styles of bows, and I'm going to do 2 different things. So I'm going to work on that here. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, give you a representation so that you guys can see what I'm doing. We're going to see how close the book is on its predictions and look at that real quick. So if I stand this far away at 30 yards, we're going to figure out how far it jumps, and then we can use that to figure out some other things and test some distances and have a little bit of fun with this. So if I stand here, I'm going to use my thumb for consistency's sake. So I'm actually going to put it on the other one because it jumps all the way across the target down there. All right, so it jumps from the inside of the frame on the left one to the outside of the frame on the right one. So I'll show you what I mean. we can get an approximate distance down there. We're going to use our bow to measure, and we can use that to kind of make some inferences about some other things and get our measuring technique down. And sorry about bumping you there. And we'll also have good opportunity to look at our shot placement down there. So here's 30 yards, as I said, and that one back there is 40. We'll probably jump up there, do a couple shots there before the live ends. So as I said, oh, there you go. As I said, 3 low, that's when I was trying to bring down my aiming point from these, and then we have the 4 high. So I need to find somewhere in the middle. My left and right on all of them is pretty decent. They're maybe 9 to 10, probably closer to 10 inches. They're within like the same 10 inches here, which isn't perfect, but if you take out our worst 2 shots, we're about 6 inches. So that's definitely pretty decent, but my vertical definitely needs some work, which for me at least is the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part for most people, and that's why the sight on the compound bow only helps you with vertical. It doesn't help you with side to side really much, much more than just using your eyes would. So the technological advancement is to help you with the hardest part, which is the vertical part. So we'll pull these out, and then we'll talk about that distance measuring thing. There's our low ones, here's our high ones. So these 3 were right. So I have a tendency to shoot right today. Not sure why. And then these two, this one would have hit the bullseye if you brought it down. This one would have been about half an inch off, but they're about 6 inches high. So yeah, definitely stuff to work on. All right, so here's our measuring thing. Let's move you guys back a tad. Right there. So it jumped from the inside of this frame right there to the outside of that frame. So from here to over here is where my finger jumped from 30 yards. So if that book's correct, that should be about 9 feet. This is a 60-inch bow, so 60 inches is 5 feet. It should be a little less than 2 of these, and if that's correct, then this technique should work pretty well for us. Yeah, that's pretty close. Came up to here or so. As for on the second bow, same bow, but the second placement of it came up to about here. So a little less than 2 bows, should be right about 90 feet or 9 feet from 90 feet. So yeah, the 1 to 10 ratio works pretty well, and I think that will do nicely for us to get an approximate idea of how far away we are from the target, and then we can adjust our aim point up and down accordingly. Now what I need to do is get good at estimating how wide things are from far away, which I think will take some time. The sun is real bright over there, which I'm all for, because it has been cold here in Pennsylvania this winter. You know what? We're going to take a couple shots at 40. It might go very poorly, but we're going to give it an attempt. Put you guys right there. All right, I'm going to go grab my glove. I'll be back in just a second. Thanks for hanging around, guys. Alrighty. 40 is way down there. We'll see what we can do. Don't have high expectations. Another thing I want to get good at is reloading my bow quickly. Some people do it really swiftly, and I want to learn how to do that. It's cool and it's useful. All right, so if I remember correctly, I needed to aim almost a hole 2 feet high from this distance, whereas only 10 yards shorter, I was aiming just about point on. What that means is that if you guys are familiar with like what the shape of an arc looks like, when it's at its highest point, it doesn't have much slope, doesn't change much, but when it's at its lowest point, it changes a lot quicker, it's a lot steeper. So what that means to me is that this is about where that bow tops out, because I have to adjust a lot between that point and that point, and that's because it gets steeper right towards the end. And yeah, this is about as far as I can reasonably shoot without raising my arm way up here, which is really, really, really hard to be accurate with. A lot of it's just luck. So yeah, this is about where this bow tops out as far as how far it can shoot. We're gonna see what we can do. Don't expect much. We're learning here. This is a learning experience. So that was actually a little bit high. I aimed probably closer to 2.5 feet high. So we'll see what we can do. Bring it down a little bit. That was pretty good. Left and right was pretty good, which means I was very accurate, because the longer you go, the further off you are. Well, the longer you go, the further off you'll be with the same distance, because even a small angle at a long distance goes out a really long way like this. So I was pretty good left and right. Really good, actually. I was only about 2 inches off. And the vertical was pretty good too, so I'm going to try and replicate that shot. That one I definitely didn't get to full draw. It was our shots are very inconsistent. That one hit the wood on the bottom of the frame. Pretty terrible shot, but that just goes to show you that at this distance, which is pretty much maximum for this bow, any little adjustment, any little mistake will be amplified greatly, because it's really, really struggling to shoot this far. This thing really is designed for like 25 yards, 30 yards and less. So pushing it beyond 30 is not easy to do. Not bad. We're back in the zone I want to be in. Still not great, but it's okay. Who we still got in here? It says we got 5 people, 10 thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys coming and watching. I really enjoy getting out here and just shooting a little bit, but getting to chat with you makes it even better. That one was really low, and I'm certain that I got the full draw. So it's just inconsistent, which it's definitely user error. I just gotta locate, diagnose whatever that it is that's making it that inconsistent. I'll tell you one thing though, I am already better than I was the last time I was here shooting at 40 yards. So that's a good sign. That was a pretty decent shot. Happy with that one. Yeah, let me know who's still in here. I think Ozarks is probably still here because he's the last one to chat, but I don't know who else is here. Mama Mission Discover. That is in fact my mom. She's here. I'm doing a lot better than I was the last time I was here. I know I was telling you that shooting at these longer distances with this bow is difficult because it's not really designed to be pushed over 30. I'm doing a lot better. We're getting in the zone. For those of you who were here for my last shot, supercalifragilistic's back. For those of you who were here for my last shot where I said it went way low and was inconsistent, I think that was another fault of our split grip, which, as I said, I want to change, but I can't yet because it does that. So once I get some serving material on there, we should be able to change that. Anyway, I think our last shot being super low was fault of my finger bumping it and making it go like that and point down, so it was lower than it should have been. If we focus on that, make sure that doesn't happen, we should be able to continually get kind of close to where we want to be. Really nice shot. This is 40 yards. I'm proud of this. Let's go take a look. Yeah, I mean, as I said, this is only the second time I've shot over 25 yards for more than like a one-off shot, because the little range that I made back at the house is only like 22. So if I back all the way up to where I'm back against the trees at the back of the range, I can shoot like 25. So 30 is slightly foreign to me, and 40 is definitely foreign. Here's our two shots that were inconsistent because I bumped the string out of place, is what I think happened on these two. This one was our first shot that actually hit the target, or no, it was our first shot overall, which was too high. And then that is what it looked like once we got in the zone. One not too great shot right there, but the other ones, these up and down, which as I mentioned was the hardest part, are pretty good. A little bit to the right. Probably this one's about 3 inches, 4 inches to the right. That one's about 6. And these two are really doggone good. And they're super close together. I'm okay with that. I was just aiming at this center dot. And wrong way, right there. Like a little bit less than the length of my thumb away from the bullseye. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. That's pretty good. Got that out. It's always questionable whether you're going to be able to get it out of wood. They stick in there pretty good. There you go. 4 loyal people still in here. My viewership today has been very inconsistent. It's dropped to like 1 or 2 a couple times, been all the way up to like 11. But yeah, it seems to be hovering around 5-ish, which, you know, could be better, but I'm okay with that, and I appreciate your time regardless of how many other people are in here. Let's keep working at this 40, because we've made some good progress already. The next time I come out here, I'm legitimately going to bring a tape measure, start to do some measurements so I can get as accurate information about where I need to be placing my shots, how I need to be measuring distance. I'm going to bring a tape measure out here the next time I come. People are going to think I'm nuts, but it's okay. That's how we get better. Let's make a couple more shots. Keep doing what we're doing. That one was a little bit high, which I felt myself do it. I tapped the top of the knock with that finger which I think brought it down a little bit, the back of the arrow down a little bit, and made it push up. I think the reason that one was high was because it was slanted up a little bit more than it typically is, which is okay. It's still, I mean, it's not a great shot. It's about a foot from the bullseye, up and down, and it's maybe an inch to the left. It's not a terrible shot, but I know why it did that, which is really the key to getting better. So what I'm saying here, it's exactly what I didn't want to do. It's fine, didn't land on the tip, but here's what I'm trying to say here. So if you look, when it's perfectly level, that's what you want. What I did is I tapped it with my top finger and did something along those lines, which made it angled ever so slightly up, and I think that's why we hit slightly high. So field tip slightly loose, but I think that's why we hit high. Gonna take a couple more shots, try not to do that, and see what we can do. Oh my goodness. Bullseye is right there. That was a good one. A bullseye from 40 yards with a traditional 40-pound recurve bow would be a good feeling for me. As I said multiple times throughout this live, shooting this far with a traditional bow is not something I've done almost any of, and we're making good progress towards being proficient at it. That's another issue I'm not sure if you guys could see over my shoulder with doing it split grip like this, is that as you pull back, the string kind of curves around you, pushes your fingers together, and if you squeeze the arrow, it has a tendency to pull it off of the frame of the bow, and it's not what you want. I'm definitely going to get some serving material in here to hold it in place up and down, and then switch over to doing it with all my fingers underneath of the nock. I think that's going to be better in the long run. Zion THC Lion. I like the name. That's a cool name. What's popping all? Well, we are popping off some arrows towards a fairly far target with a rudimentary bow, and I'm doing a lot better than I would have thought I would be doing. So, yeah. Ozark says, I gotta go, bro. Still at work and getting busy. I enjoyed it. Not a problem, Ozarks. I appreciate you popping in, taking the time, as always. Glad you enjoyed it. See, I popped it with the finger before I let it go. I could have told you if you stopped time, I could have told you that was going to miss way low, and it did. I definitely have to switch to going underneath, but I can't do it until I get the marker in place. So we'll work on that shortly so that next time we come back, we don't have that issue. And that one's going to be fun to get out because it is in the wood. So you got a little bit of wind to contend with too. Good shot. Really good left and right. Maybe an inch to the right of the bullseye. A little bit low. Couldn't tell you why that one is, but a little bit low. Good left and right. My left and right is consistently pretty decent, which is good because that's the part that I should be good at. So it's always nice to know that you're good. You're at least satisfactory at what you're supposed to be good at. The up and down part is the hard part, especially with this bow at this distance. That's a real good one. Close to the bullseye. Not sure exactly how close, but it's not far. I did also bring my little monocular to be able to see this stuff, but it wouldn't help you guys much. So we'll just go down there and be surprised together. That one was low. I think I didn't get quite the full draw. I was probably half an inch short, and that half an inch short made it about 6 inches low. So yeah, Chad's in. I haven't seen you around in a while. Chad, thanks for stopping in again. The president, as we call him around these parts. Two more shots, then I'm going to, number one, go get the sweatshirt because it's starting to cool off a little bit, and number two, go check out these arrows. See, that's just a product of me getting tired, maybe getting a little bit lazy. Every once in a while you'll have a bad shot, but those bad shots are the ones that really show your true character as an archer, because the best archers don't have many bad shots. I pulled it, not my fingers, the actual front part of the bow, I pulled it a little bit left as I let go, and it is way, way to the left of where it should be. That was, and it's high. That's definitely the worst shot I've taken all day. Let's see if we can make up for it. Not bad. We're a little bit low. I think I popped the arrow up, which, as I have said a couple times now, is an issue with our split grip. I don't want to be split grip, but that's kind of how it has to be right now, and we're going to work on fixing that shortly. I'm going to go grab my sweatshirt real quick. I'll do that as swiftly as possible, and then we'll go check out these arrows, which started off, our last set was definitely a little bit better, but this was not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we're back. When are you going to end the video? Somewhere around 6. Probably give it another 45 or so minutes. I don't know what our battery percentage is at. 38 isn't terrible. We do have a charger, so we will get that working for us at some point. I'm gonna zip this up because it open and flapping in the wind is an easy way for it to get caught in the string and make your shots real bad. Figured that out on a couple of the outtakes on the short from the last time I was here. It like didn't even reach the target because the wind flapped, opened up my sweatshirt, and the string hit it, and it made it like halfway to the target. It was pretty terrible. All right, let's go take a look at these. Also, let's do some practice with our little measuring trick. So, from this distance, I bet that's about 10 feet. From this distance, it should jump. From this distance, it should jump 12 feet. So if that's 10 feet, it should jump from there to there. From the circle on, you guys can't even see it, sorry. There you go. From the circle, left circle on the left target to the edge of the other target is where I'm guessing. I'm trying to get good at this. I was pretty close. I overestimated a little bit. It's more realistically the middle of the left target to the outer edge of the right target. That's about 12 feet, which should be 2.5 or so of the bows. We're gonna measure. We're just trying to get good at this, trying to get the technique down. I appreciate all the support. We got 11 thumbs up. Just out here doing a little bit of practice and brought you guys along for the ride. So, a little bit more inconsistent than the last one, which this is still better than I was expecting from this distance. As I said earlier, only my second time shooting above 30 with this bow. So, here's the one that I said was bad and went really, really far to the left. That's this one. All the other ones, left and right wise, are pretty good. As I said, that's the part that is easier and I should be decent at. Left and right, from the furthest one left to the furthest one right, is probably only like 7 inches. So other than that one, which is our outlier, not bad, but our up and down's obviously pretty skewed. Here's our really high one, not great. Here's our really low one, obviously not good. All those are fairly decent. These two would be on the edge, but if we were shooting at like a deer for hunting, everything, I think all of them, except for if we're counting the bullseye as like where you want to hit, I think the top 3 would do it, and I think the bottom 2 would just miss. So the top 3 would have been good from 40 yards, and there's no way in the world I would ever try and do, which I don't hunt, but if I were going to, there's no way I'd try and take a shot at 40 at a deer with a recurve bow. That'd be pushing it for a compound bow. There's no way I'd do it with this. So the fact that we're that close is decent, especially given the fact that I'm a beginner at this distance with the recurve. That one's real close. That was an inch away from being a really, really, really memorable shot. First bullseye from 40 with the recurve is going to be a good thing to get. We might get it before today's over. All right. Five people still in here. We've been running the live for 1 hour and 38 minutes. I really appreciate all of you for coming in and entertaining me as I'm out here practicing. It's something that I'm committed to do, committed to get better, and the fact that I can bring you guys along for the ride and have a little bit of community engagement while I'm doing it, it's just a fun thing. So we'll keep going at this 40 target. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to just do some confidence boosting. We're going to go all the way down to the 10, switch back to some intuitive shooting. I do want to get good at switching back and forth between them. We're just going to work on that for a minute. And my goal here is for you guys to be able to see the shot along its entire trajectory as I'm shooting. So you can see the target. Hopefully you can see me. Yes, you can. Intuitive shots. We are way high. It's intuitive. I got to tell myself that. This is what I was doing at the beginning of the live. For those of you who were here, I was shooting high because my brain is kind of not getting the fact that I'm shooting intuitive. By the way, what I'm doing when I'm shooting intuitive versus aiming is I'm closing one eye when I'm aiming and just putting the point where I want it to go and adjusting that up and down based upon how far we are. And when I'm doing intuitive, I'm looking down the whole shaft of the arrow and kind of thinking about where it's pointed and not focusing on the tip, just kind of pointing it in the right direction, which can help in a lot of ways and hurt in a lot of other ways. So it depends on the scenario for which one you want to use. So this one should be better. Got to get back in the intuitive zone if I don't do that. There you go. Still high. We're real close. I almost never shoot this close. Decent. I'm just popping off shots real quick to get back in the zone. Switching back and forth between the techniques is definitely something that's going to take some work. Not bad. Let's hit a bullseye real quick, just for the hay of it. Oh man. My brain's so in the mode for aiming that it can't do intuitive. I'm high on every shot. There you go, that's better. Come on, let's get a good one. Still high. There we go. We got progressively better, but that was not what I wanted to see. I'll show you what I mean. Obviously, our grouping is pretty decent, but this is a real short target. It should be definitely better than that. Yeah, should be better. These are way too high, like a solid 7-8 inches too high on this one. These are like 5-6 inches too high. This is where I need to be. These need to be my bad shots. That needs to be a bad shot, and the good ones need to be like right there. But that's why we work on this stuff. Switching back from the aiming to the intuitive is not super easy. But yeah, because it's a whole different mindset. Have both eyes open for intuitive, have only one eye open for aiming. You're using the point versus you're completely ignoring the point. It's a whole different thing. So let's try that again. We should be better because I had a whole round of practice with the intuitive. Sorry about that. Got caught on that pipe to hold the arrows. All right, put you back here on the corner. See what we can do. You got to turn you more than that. There you go. All right. So I'm not actually changing where I'm aiming with this. I'm just making sure I focus on keeping both eyes open, looking down the whole shaft of the arrow, imagining where it's going to hit. That's what I need to do here. About 3 inches high. There you go. That's what we need. I gotta look down the whole shaft of the arrow. Like draw an imaginary line down the length of the arrow and to the target. And then move that whole line instead of just moving the tip. That's the whole concept here. There you go. There you go, there's a bullseye. Let me know who all's still in here. I see some people still there, but nobody's chatting. Way high, way high. I lost my focus and all of a sudden lost all the things I was just working on. Come on. Left and right wasn't good, but the height was super good. We'll do one more round after this, and then we'll move all the way back up to 40, switching between the extremes, making sure that we have the differences in the techniques in our mind so that we don't start mixing things up, don't start getting lazy, start thinking about, the specific differences between the distances. Still high. Only a couple inches, but from this distance, I should be dead on with every shot. There you go. That one was decent. All right, so definitely better than the last one, but this is still something I'm not happy with. We got one bullseye. From this distance, I'm just here looking over my bow and watching you shoot. Perfect. From this distance, missing this far up, which is like the whole length of my hand, above the bullseye, is not where I want to be. So this shot, if we can eliminate those, then we're in a good place. These are all pretty decent. These are 3.5, 4 inches away from the target. If I could get a whole group where they're all within 2 inches of the bullseye, I'd be quite happy. Yeah, that's where I want to be. I'm gonna switch up which one of these dots I'm aiming at, just for the purpose of kind of mixing it up a little bit, changing where I have to angle things, and working on the intuitive nature of it, just to kind of get that into my head. So we're gonna work on that, because not every target's just gonna be the middle of a thing. So, I guess this is believe it or not, this is a bag. It's like a giant bean bag is what that's like. So, yeah. Let's see if we can narrow this a little bit more, and then we're going to be crazy. We're going to jump all the way from 10 yards all the way back up to 40 and switch our technique entirely. Switching between it like this is the best way to get it. Muscle memory, so that, you know, all the in-betweener, because like, could I use on 30 or 20 yards, could I use aiming technique pretty properly? Yeah. Here, it's just not something that's worth it. Could I use on 30 yards? Could I use intuitive? Probably. But jumping between this, where you almost have to use intuitive, and that, where you almost have to use aiming, is probably what's going to be best for me. Fatigue is real with archery. You will slowly start missing because of it. Very true. I'm not sure how many arrows I've shot today. There's 8 in this set that I'm shooting. I probably shot 10 rounds of that, so like 80 shots, which means, as Ozark said, I will start to fatigue eventually, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give up. So we're going to keep going, see what we can do. All right, see, like, this is how far we are. Just going to walk back. We're not even on the path. And then all of a sudden we're back at the point where we aim from, our shooting spot. All right, let's get this group as tight as possible, get a real good group, and then switch all the way back to 40 over there. So we're going from intuitive, we're going to make some real good intuitive shots, and then we're going to go all the way up and make some real good aiming shots. From one extreme to the other. Let's do it. That was about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches away, and it was high. Me aiming high from this distance, it is typical. When you get this close, it's typical to aim high. Maybe chat for about 5 to 10 minutes and give your arms a rest. You'll start shooting a tighter pattern. Don't ever give up. Just take a small break. I'm all for that. After this set, I'm going to take your advice, and then we'll give it a rest. For me, which actually makes a lot of sense, because I lift a lot, so I know like what muscles are strongest and what muscles aren't for me, because I lift a lot and I lift with other people, so I know what I'm really good at and what I'm not. My pulling arm, not tired at all. My upper back is really strong for my weight, and my lats are fine, but like with this style, and because we're not like reaching all the way over and pulling, it's a lot of upper back. My upper back's really good. My shoulders are kind of just average. So my support arm out here, which is a lot of shoulder, it's almost like you're pressing it out like a shoulder press and holding it there. My shoulder is what tires out more than my pull arm. So my front left arm is the issue when I start to fatigue. It doesn't feel terrible right now, but a rest is never bad. See, I had a really good aim on that one, and I pulled it up with this shoulder. I don't feel the fatigue, but that doesn't mean that it's not tired. So that was this arm problem. I pulled it up. A lot of my problems I've been having today deal with this arm not pulling far enough, bumping it when I let go. That one was a this arm problem. Really good up and down, and I was a little bit to the right. So the left and right is what's easier for me, which is logical and typical. But when I get a good up and down, I missed the left to right. So that's not what we want. I think that's in the bullseye. It's at least super close. That's the type of shot we want. These field points getting loose is really starting to bug me. Whoa. That was a disarm problem again. So the fatigue, hey, Ozarks is right. Not that I didn't think he is right, but it's just proof that he knows what he's talking about. Left arm fatigue, it's starting. So we got three more shots, and then we'll give ourselves a little break before we jump all the way up to big 40 yards over there. So that was a mental issue. See, I'm not afraid to show my failures, but that one hurts me. That was super high because all of a sudden I closed this eye and aimed like I was aiming again, which is why it went really high. I didn't use my intuitive techniques. I forgot about it for a second. Switching between these, not super easy, but doing it and learning through it is definitely something that's going to help us in the long run. That was not a good shot, but I know why it is. It's because my aiming technique was not the proper one to use right now. Bullseye. That was a good comeback from the previous shot. And another bullseye. That's what we need to see. That's a good way to come back from that bad shot. This is the type of round, other than this real high one. That real high one is the one I was just talking about. That's because I was using the wrong aiming technique. This is our outlier other than that, which is only about 6 inches high. Still not what I want to see, but I'm okay with it. These are all tightly grouped. I forget what I did about that one. I probably talked about it earlier, but I don't remember what I did. But the other ones are good. About 2.5 inches from the bullseye, and then all three of these are in that black dot. That's what we like to see. That was a good comeback. Oh. So I'm gonna rest for 3 minutes. I'm going to shoot. We're gonna shoot as many arrows as it takes to get another bullseye. Once we get a bullseye, we're gonna go up there and see if we can get a bullseye on the 40 before we leave. If it doesn't happen, that's okay, but a bullseye on the 40 would really make my day. So we're gonna see if we can go from a bullseye on this to a bullseye on that. That's the goal. So take a minute to rest, and then we'll get back at it. The sun, I think, is just about ready to head over the hills, which means we only have about 10-15 minutes more of light. And once it starts to get dim, then obviously the live isn't going to be great quality, so we're gonna end it there. What time is it actually? 5:38. So one of my ultimate goals, obviously I do a lot of different things on the channel, but one of the things that really excites me as far as like a long-term goal is I want to be someone who can do a lot of, I don't know what you want to call them, projectile launchers, not necessarily firearms, because obviously there's a lot of sensitivity about that subject. Long term, I might do some hunting. I'm going to do some crowdsourcing and some opinions on that when I get around to that in a couple years, when I start to think about that sort of thing. If I were to do hunting, I would frame it like I do everything. It's very informational, very formal. It's not about, I want to go out. Sorry, we had a connection issue. It's not going to be, if I do hunting, it's not going to be about, oh, we're going to go out and get this big buck. It's going to be about learning through it. It's going to be about, once I get that, how do I process it and how do I use as much of that animal as possible. I do bushcraft projects. I'd probably use the antlers maybe to make a knife handle. I'd probably use some of the backstrap material, dry it out, and use it for some bushcraft projects. I'd probably use the fur for fly tying. We'd eat the meat. I'd try and use as much of that animal as possible just to be respectful to the life of that animal. And I'd have to do a lot of consideration about how I'm going to treat the firearm usage to make sure that it's appropriate, and it's safety's concerned. Safety's considered is what I meant to say. And I demonstrate that it's a safe practice and make sure I put that at the forefront of the video, because I know there's a lot of sensitivity around that stuff. So I'd have to think more about how I did that. But yeah, anyway, not necessarily talking about firearms, but just talking about general projectile launchers. I really would like to be like the guy for that. What I mean, like, I don't want to be necessarily like, oh, the biggest guy on YouTube. I just want to be the guy who people are like, oh yeah, that guy knows how to use them. I mean, I already do the sling. I already do slingshots. I already do traditional bow. I'm working on the compound bow. But there's a couple other things that I might want to try. Maybe there's a thing called an atlatl. They're really weird. They're kind of cool. I want to learn how to do that. And yeah, if I can be like, hey, people come to my channel, I'm a good multi-species fisherman. I do some hiking and some camping here and there, and I really know how to use all these projectile launchers and compare them. That'd be really cool. And I feel like being able to do some lives where maybe like, hey, which I guess I could do now, but like, hey, while I'm resting from shooting the bow, what am I doing? Take out my sling or my slingshot, pick that up. Slingshot's kind of the same motion, but it's super light tension because it's like 6 pounds of draw weight or something like that. Pull out the slingshot, pull out the sling, and start using that as I'm resting from the bow. And being able to switch between those and do all of them is something I'm excited for. And then the possibility of being able to transition some of this into a very ethical and very informational style of hunting content eventually would be something that I'd want to do. I'd have to do some more consideration about how to do that so that I make sure I keep my monetization status, because I know some people have lost that because of those type of things. And how to make sure that I don't make anybody angry unnecessarily. I really would like to treat animals with respect. If I'm going to take the life of an animal, I want to make sure I use every single part of that animal. So more consideration to come on those subjects, but it will probably happen at some point. Those are things that I look forward to, and I hope you guys are on board with that as well. Those are awesome. Atlatl is super primitive. Yeah, I think might be a video this summer. I think I want to make one. There's a whole bunch of bamboo around, and I know they have like a hole in the end of a spear. So for those of you who don't know what an atlatl is, it's like a handle that you hold and you like flick it, and because of the leverage and how it works, it flings a spear super fast. And the spears are lightweight. They're like upsized arrows. So I know they have a hole where like a peg goes in, so when you flick it, it kind of flies off the peg. I think I could carve something that does that And then I think I could make the spears out of like bamboo and find a way to make some heads for them. I think my goal might be not to buy one, but to make one and see if I can make one and use it. I think that'd be a fun video. And I think learning how to use it would be super cool. And then maybe we eventually buy a like manufactured version and compare it to the one I made. So fun stuff to come with that. I have more content on the slings coming too. I know I have done some more stuff with them as of recently. I've been having a really good time using the slings. But yeah, this type of stuff is stuff I really enjoy. I think you guys enjoy it as well, so I'm going to keep doing it. Camping, just general adventure, multi-species style fishing, where I try and catch whatever, doing whatever technique, and this type of stuff is I think where the channel is going to live, with some obviously random stuff here and there. We are Mission Discover after all, so you know, EDC content sprinkled here and there, which kind of just supplements all these things, and so on and so forth, other random outdoorsy stuff. But I think those 3 columns are where the channel is mostly going to live going forward. Some cooking stuff, all that. But I guess you and Dad are going to have a project. Yeah, I think I'm going to, because it is a very primitive thing, I think I'm going to try and do it with my bushcraft tools only, because, you know, it's a primitive type launcher thing, and I think I'm going to try and make it with like nothing but like a knife and a saw, and see if I can make it happen. We'll see. Yeah, sounds like a fun idea. I have lots of fun ideas for when the weather is, you know, concretely warm. It's kind of unseasonably warm today, but we'll see if it stays that way. If it does, then those projects are coming sooner than later. All right, I think we've had sufficient rest time. The sun's officially down, but we still have some light. So see how long it takes us to get a bullseye on this target. Once we do, I'll hop up to the 40 and see if we can get one before the sun goes down. All right. First shot would be kind of cool. Keep both eyes open. Extend an imaginary line all the way down the arrow shaft to the target. See if we can get it first try. Wow, I think we missed by like half an inch. It's real close. It's really close. Oh, that's how close it was. Goodness. All right, well, do the same thing. We're just about there. What do you say? Do we go crazy and try and hit one of the other dots on there instead of that one? I think we do it. Because if we can't hit any dot we want to, then it doesn't mean our skill's there. It means we just are getting lucky with the middle one. So I'm gonna try the one to the top left of it. Way high. As I said, I was just getting comfortable with that shot instead of actually understanding the mechanics. We're going back to it. We got it. We just gotta focus. We gotta be diligent with our technique. Let's do it. Here we go. I just about Robin hitted the previous arrow. My technique's consistent, but my perspective is off. Try it one more time. Come on. Oh, I think we had another half-inch miss. What's our phone percentage at? 26. We'll just, we'll keep running the phone until the end of the live. We don't need the charger yet. I'll charge it on the way home. All right, here we go. I'm going to pick the top right one now. Oh, real close. I'm going all over the board so that we know it's not a fluke if I hit it. Bottom left. I think we got it. We were going all over the board to make sure it wasn't a fluke, but I think we got our bullseye. they were all fairly close shots. So, yep, there's our bullseye. Oh, sorry about that, turning it the wrong way. Boom, that one right there is in. This one missed by about a ½ an inch low. These two were both solid 2. This one was 2 inches high, this one was about 4. So these were not good shots. That's not what we like to see. This one was about a ½ an inch off, and this one was about 1.5 inches off. So not terrible shots on any of them. We got our bullseye. It didn't take one, but it also didn't take our whole set of arrows either. And we were close on all of them. That would have been, this one would have been kind of questionable, but every other shot would have been a deer securing shot for bow hunting. So that's what we like to see. Let's get these out, pop up to 40, and run that until either the phone gets dangerously low on battery, or the amount of light in the sky gets low enough to where the live doesn't start to look great. All right, grab those arrows. All the way up to 40. Big change. If I get a bullseye, that's probably going to be the last shot of the video. I'll just end it on a bullseye then. But I don't have high hopes here. We'll see. Here you go. All the way down there. Big change from our last target. All right, people. Don't have a ton of time, but we got a little bit of hope. Let's see if we can get a bullseye. And if not, it was a good live anyway. We learned a lot, made some progress. All right, here we go. Really low. I didn't get all the way on my full draw. There's lots of stuff to focus on, lots of stuff to worry about. That was way low, like a whole 2.5 feet low. Still low. We came back and we lost all our progress. Come on, let's get it back. We got it. We're a lot lower than we were before, and I'm not quite sure why. I'm aiming at the exact same spot. We're gonna figure it out. We haven't actually hit the target yet, which makes me sound like a really bad archer, but I'm a learning archer, so that's okay. Okay, still low, which is crazy, but left and right, if it was a little bit higher, it would have been a bullseye. Left and right was really good. About as good as it could be. Actually, I don't think I could have got left and right any better. Yeah, stuff to work on, but let's give it another shot. I have no idea where that hit on the target. I know it didn't hit the bullseye. String slap. So it was low, obviously, because it kind of slowed down right at the end. Didn't give it its full power transfer because some of it went right there. Just a little string slap, but enough to make it go low. So this is kind of where my finger fatigue starts setting in. Holding my fingers like this as I'm pulling back on the bow starts to get me towards the end of my practice sessions. I think a lot of the reason why I'm missing so aggressively right now might be because with my finger fatigue, I'm letting go too harshly. I need to just let it roll off. Let's try it again. There you go, not too bad. Not too bad. I'm getting a little bit better. Got one more shot. This was not a good round, but we just transitioned from way to the other end. Doing this type of stuff is what's going to get us better because, you know, switching from way over there to way over here is going to really illuminate our deficiencies. Wouldn't it be great if we just hit the bullseye right now? Could call it a day. Didn't have to walk down there, walk back, do all that fun stuff again. Let's do it. Why not? Oh, guys, not bad. Not good, but not bad. Here you go. All over the place on this one. Really all over the place. We only hit half of the shots we took even hit the target. So if that shows you how all over the place it was. Yeah, look at that. That's ugly. This one was, these two were about equally close. 6 inches or so away from where we were aiming. Not terrible. These were low. We had a tendency to be low. Low shots. These were so low that they hit the frame, but not the target. And then there's two that were so low they didn't even hit the target. They're underneath. Not the round we want to see, but our bad rounds are the ones in which we learn the most. So, see if we can use what we learned to hit a bullseye before that light that we have goes away. It's possible, but it might have to wait for another video. We're progressing, we're learning. That's all that matters. As I said earlier, for those of you who weren't in here, compound bow's right there. It's not ready to shoot yet. From this distance, the compound bow is a more logical choice. It's possible to do it with these, but it's difficult. That's why we're practicing. That's why we're struggling. But the end result, when we finally get good from this distance, will be a good thing to have. Good thing to see. All right. You did good. Don't sweat the little stuff, bud. Just keep on going. Yeah, for sure. I'm not sweating the little stuff. It's not something that like upsets me, but not paying attention to the little stuff is also something you don't want to do. You don't want to let it bother you, but you also don't want to ignore it. It's like forgive and forget. Forgive and forget isn't what you want to do. You want to forgive and not forget. You want to remember that and learn from it. Call mom, veggie. Can mom veggie? Can mom veggie? My mom's asking me something, and I don't know what she means. Something about a vegetable. I think, maybe that was a typo too. Call mom before you leave. Nothing wrong. I need something. Perfect. I don't know what veggie was about, but the second thing, I can do that. There you go. Left and right was not good, but vertical was pretty decent. All right, let's focus. Reel of Life 423 popping in right at the end. We've done a really long practice session, probably upwards of 150, 160 shots here today with a traditional bow at a range that's geared towards compound fancy bows. And we're not doing half bad, but we're at the end of the practice session. I'm getting a little bit tired, and we're at the longest target on this range. So we're not going to do anything super impressive here. We're in learning mode, not in comfort mode. So you're not going to see the most fantastic shots you ever have seen, but we're practicing and we're going to give it a shot. See if we can maybe get a bullseye on this long target before we head in for the day. 40 yards for a 40-pound recurve bow is a little bit of a tough shot, but we're trying anyway. That was not bad. Vertical, I can tell you, is good. It's still left. So, which means to me, my arm's pulling that way a little bit. Since it's tired, as I was talking about a couple minutes ago. I tend to, when I get tired, my support arm that's actually holding the bow gets more tired than this one does. And I start to move this around a little bit more than I need to. Butterflies in Sunshine is in. Very impressive on this end. Well, I appreciate it. Glad you popped in. Maybe you were sitting in the background watching but not chatting for a little bit, but yeah, I appreciate you popping in. Yeah, we only have a couple minutes before the light is too dim to keep shooting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out this round of arrows. I have 6 more, including this one. We're going to finish this out and see what we can do. Maybe we get a bullseye in that time. Maybe we don't. It doesn't matter. There's always stuff to aspire to for next time. The knock, or not the knock, the point got loose. Not exactly sure where that went, but I heard it hit the target. This will be kind of a surprise round because it's getting dim enough to where I can't see them. So I actually am not quite sure where they're going. I have a general idea, but we'll go down there and figure it out together in a minute. That one was high. I'm not sure how high, but I know it was at least above where the bullseye is, not below it. It's getting a little bit windy here too, which doesn't help our case. And the wind is blowing this way. I know I just said I kept pulling left. I wonder if part of that's because the wind's blowing this way too. But at this distance with this light of an arrow, it's possible that it's impacting it by a couple inches. So I'm going to aim ever so slightly right. Well, right now on this shot, it's calm, so we'll take advantage of that. So that one hit the wood. That was real low. I was so worried about getting it off before the wind came in that I got sloppy with it. I think it was low, just not sure how low. 2 more shots. All right, we're gonna be really deliberate with these shots. Make them good ones. Here we go, shot 1. Well, that isn't the best way to start. Not sure where it was. I think it was to the right. But I think the up and down was decent. And last shot of the day. Could this be the one? Probably not, but it's possible. I have no idea where it is. I'm fairly certain that none of them are in the bullseye. But we'll go check it out. Butterfly says, have been here a while. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and watching. All right. Sun is definitely real close to going down completely. And we're gonna go check it out. Is that an error or is that a hole? Okay, so this is interesting because as I said, I thought I hit one on the wood. I did not. It was low, but not quite as low as I thought. All over the place, but I didn't miss the target at all this time, which is better than our last round. High and low, these two are the best, but they're left. And then all the other ones, after I started adjusting to what I thought was the wind pushing it left a little bit, I had them all go right, so I adjusted too much. Yeah, not great, but these are things we can learn from. I adjusted way too much. Yeah, adjusted way too much for the wind. High and low wasn't great, but we hit the target on 8 consecutive shots. And from this distance, at the very end of a practice session, when we've already shot several hundred shots, my arm's tired, my fingers are tired. This isn't the worst thing in the world. It really isn't. Yeah, lots of stuff to learn from. And yeah, I'm going to grab all these arrows, grab all my stuff, load up the truck while on the live, and then before this is over, or before I leave, I mixed that up. Before I leave, I'll say goodbye to you guys, give you proper thanks, and then I'll start driving home after I call Mom, because apparently she needs something. I don't know if that means I need to do like a grocery store run or what, but I'm all set for it. So these guys, Mom says she enjoys or loves seeing her boy, which happens to be me, enjoying himself. I am enjoying myself. I'm super glad I found this range. This is only my second time being here. It's about, depending on traffic, it's between 13 and 16 minutes from the house. And yeah, it's really nice, nicely kept, good quality targets. They got a lot of different options. They got stuff dedicated to broadheads, so if you want to use your hunting setup and dial that in, you can do that. You could use field points on all the targets as well. Not all of them, not the one specifically dedicated to broadheads, which is that one right there. They got holders for your bows. They got holders for your arrows. It's really nice. And it's not far from the house, so I will definitely be visiting here frequently. 5 people in. I'm gonna grab the bow that we were just shooting on, go pop these in the truck. I'm gonna put the bow down because I still need to take the string off before we head home. Oh, sorry about that. Sister pickup. That makes sense. I am kind of out that direction. Go grab the rest of my stuff. I'll be back in just a minute. fancy compound bow, which I brought solely for the purpose of showing you on the live. It's taken one shot with one of these recurve arrows, which it is not meant to do. Those are too light and too flimsy for that bow. But I just wanted to kind of see what it felt like to shoot a compound, because I had never done it up to that point. I know what it feels like. Now it's time to actually get it set up so we can use it eventually. All right. Take the string off this. Now this is unbent. Toss that in here. Unlock the truck, and we're just about ready to head out. Our bag's on the other side though. Alrighty, it's about time for me to head out. As always, I really appreciate you guys joining me on the live. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos as well, but especially the lives, because I get to interact with you guys, talk with you guys, answer questions, get to know you guys a little bit better than, you know, just a comment on a video where we're just messaging. I really like this kind of where I actually get to speak and answer your questions instead of just write it down with a keyboard. So I really appreciate this type of video, this type of interaction, and I will always take the chance to do it again. Thanks for watching. I have a video coming out about horse riding and my learning experience during my first time horse riding. That's coming out at, I believe, 3:30 Eastern time tomorrow. So if you're around, make sure to come in there. We can chat a little bit more, and hopefully that is enjoyable. Yeah, that's all I got for today. I'm about to head out. I think I have to pick up my sister before heading home, and then I'm ready for dinner. I'm getting hungry. I'm kind of always hungry though. I'm at that age. But yeah, never turn down food. I'm excited for dinner, and I'm ready to get to that. So thanks for watching, guys. Butterflies, thanks for coming in. Real of Life, I don't know if you're still in here, but thank you. Ozarks, thank you guys. Thanks for sharing your day at the range with us. No problem. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Adios.